I want to just quickly ask you both, do you think this manager is in charge when we go on our pre-season tour of the United States in the summer? Connor?
No, I can't bring myself to even think about yes in this scenario. To be honest, is I don't think I'll be here speaking about if he is, because I just can't sit through another season of that. But yeah, my money will be on no. I think I ultimately think the club have to make a decision this summer: either give him a new contract or send him on his way. And I can't for the life of me seeing them give him a new contract. So I'm going to say no.
I mean, there's some murmurings, Chris, and that seems to be my word du jour, by the way, murmurings. But it really does feel like Arne is also questioning his future with regards to the way he's been spoken about, treated. I think he feels he deserves more respect for winning that Premier League title last year. I think he's gotten away with, a lot, to be quite frank about it, more than probably most other managers at other clubs would have gotten away with. So I think he should be counting his lucky stars. But for you, what are we saying? Will it be here when we go on the pre-season tour?
I think that's the $1 million question, to be honest. It honestly totally depends on the end of the season and how we do. I mean, if he wins, let me ask you, I'll bounce back with a question. I'll be a real politician here, Craig. If he wins the Champions League, do you want him to stay?
Chris, I don't even sweat. Look, I've always said, if he wins the Champions League, I don't think you can fire him. I still would, but I don't think it could be done. And I think it would look extremely harsh from the outside. I still think it would be the right decision, mind you, because I'm of the mindset that what we may win this season will be in spite of him and not because of him. But I would not expect him to be fired now if he won a Champions League.
And that's where and by the way, I actually don't think we're going to win the Champions League, but I want us to. It'd be great. I would be more than happy for Arne to stay if he did win the Champions League. I've got no qualms about that, because to win the Premier League and Champions League in the first two seasons is an incredible achievement, no matter how rubbish you've been in the second season. So yeah, I would say completely dependent on if we get Champions League football and how he does in the Champions League. But I'm going to say no.
So on that, we move on to, I'm fully no, by the way. I think he should be gone already, but in the summer, so be. I do think we're stuck with him for the rest of the season, come what may, which, again, I don't think sends out the right message, because for me right now, I think there's still a chance to G these boys up and get something. Even a little burst now would do it. Look at, again, dare we say it, but look at Carrick's impact at Manchester United. Nobody's trying to make out like Michael Carrick is Sir Alex Ferguson reincarnated, but he's able to go in there and motivate the players. So with that in mind, Connor, do we get enough points to qualify for next season's Champions League? Because I've got to fess up here, in spite of all of this and all of the frustration, I think we stumble across the line and get there.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah, I think like as bad as we are, as bad as the manager is, I just think we'll stumble there. Like you said, stumble is probably the word. Like I think we were like just consistently inconsistent enough that we pick up a decent amount of points, and then like you have Villa falling off a cliff, you have Chelsea who are hit and miss, you have United who are probably guaranteed at this point. Like I just think there's enough spots there. I think the fact that there's 5 spots is our saving grace. I think if it was 4, I'd be very much sweating on it, unlike you, Craig, who doesn't sweat. But outside of that, yeah, I think we will just barely stumble over the line, even with Arne Slot in charge.
So all of that in, right? Now be honest, Chris, because I want to ask you this sincerely. Is a big part of you worried that you qualify for the Champions League because that means this clown might keep a job? Because I can't lie, mate. I always want us to win games. I'm never going to kind of want us to lose. But that is a fear of mine here, that we actually qualify and somehow they give him another season. Because I don't know, mate. I don't know if I'll be here if that's the case. Because as you've said, you're now going into Liverpool games not with a sense of excitement or anticipation or looking forward to catching up with everybody in the chat. You're going in thinking, how bad is today going to be?
Yeah. To be honest, I think being in the Champions League outweighs a lot of importance. To be honest, I don't think they would say right now you can have another season, Arne, because I think that would be too much of a risk. But being in the Champions League is an absolutely huge. I saw Dale Johnson right today, £120 million it could lose Liverpool if we don't get in the Champions League. And that's to be invested within the squad, to be invested within the infrastructure, whatever. It would be a massive loss. So if you offered me 5th place right now, Arne's in charge, I'm taking it.
I mean, I dare say I'd probably still agree with Chris because my desire for Liverpool to be successful outweighs anything else. But it is tough, Connor, as a fan, to think that far down the line and think, oh yeah, he'll still be there. Because in my mind, if we get into the Champions League, which I think we're all somewhat confident of, I think FSG should be, rubbing their hands together and thinking, right, we got away with one there. Let's make sure we get rid of this fella and get somebody in who will get the job done next season. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, that's where I'd be at, definitely. I feel like in my head, I'm treating Arne Slot like he has been the interim manager for the last 2 months, and he'll just leave in the summer. That's the only way I can get through this, keeping some sort of sanity. I think, like you were saying, I think if he gets Champions League, I just really, really hope the club don't think, yeah, that's checked off. Yes, successful season, new contract. I can't, in good faith, believe that that's how the club will think. As much as we give out about the club, they're not complete idiots. I'm sure they're seeing what we're seeing. I'm sure there will be decisions to be made. And I know we'll get on to Richard Hughes later, but I do wonder, is there a shout where Michael Edwards steps in and says, look, Hughes and Slot, you're both gone, we're going to start again? Or do you reckon it is Hughes making the decision on Slot? Is it a pair? Is it a duo at this point? They really do seem to have each other's back, even at round table and all. Just they're kind of very much well, we talk on a constant basis, we're nearly making decisions together. Is there, I don't know, is there a world where both of them go? That's kind of where I'm questioning.
So, Chris, I've got the WTAJ memorabilia ready to go. Where's the accountability, John?
Yeah. That would be a big Willie move, wouldn't it, Connor? That would be really huge if Michael Edwards just did that. I feel like these guys back their decisions. I think that there's a level of ego and there's a level of arrogance, and I mean that in a good way and in a bad way, about their own decisions. They believe that this is to be successful. And to be fair, they replaced Jurgen Klopp with the Premier League title winning manager. So even if Arne does go this summer, it's been a success. We can actually say that. However, surely they're looking and they're watching this side, and yes, you can look at data or whatever. Surely they're looking at this and saying this cannot continue.
I wonder though, will there be any self-preservation involved in this? Because we don't know all that much about Richard Hughes. We know Michael Edwards' MO. We kind of know how he operates, Connor. But if you're Richard Hughes here and you're thinking, right, somebody's getting the bullet, me or him, self-preservation usually kicks in.
That's kind of where my head's at. Especially if Hughes and Slot are very chummy, if they are very we're going to have each other's backs here. It's going to be very hard to have Richard Hughes turn around and say to Slot, look, I'm going to keep my job, but you can piss off. You know what I mean? If they are really in it together the way they seem to be, I do just wonder, will the decision be made? Because obviously Hughes' contract is up next season as well, and I think Michael Edwards is as well. But the fact that Michael Edwards is an FSG employee rather than a club employee, I would imagine he would have more weight in this conversation, or he would be more stable in his position. I'm sure he will get a new extension onto his contract or whatever, rather than, I think Richard Hughes definitely, I wouldn't expect him to go, but it is just a theory that I've seen floating around. Is there something to be said for maybe the both of them going, because maybe Hughes won't have the bollocks to get rid of Arne.